This is 4046. Welcome to my channel. Things have chilled down a little bit now, more. I'd like to talk about the Aral Sea. This is something I've been following for the last 15 years. This used to be the 4th largest inland lake in the entire world. Much of my information I'll get from Wikipedia. I know Wikipedia has accuracy issues, however the Aral Sea article is actually very, very good. This was brought to light when I used to work in a mailing house, and there was a magazine called The Economist which did a piece on the Aral Sea. The Aral Sea used to have, and this one I can actually show you pictures. These are from the New Scientist magazine. Unfortunately, I'm still going to have to do this manually because I still don't have the right PC for the job. However, actually I don't know if I should show. That was the Aral Sea in the 1960s, and as you can see, over time it's almost entirely dried up. The reason for this being that the Soviet Union diverted the two main rivers that were feeding this lake for the production of cotton. So over a period of 30 to 40 years, where all these farms alongside these rivers have been irrigated to produce cotton, the sea itself wasn't being replenished, and over a period of 40 years, well 50 years in fact, it almost entirely dried up. Now it's in one of the regions of Kazakhstan, and the area is called the Kyrgyzstan Autonomous Region of Uzbekistan even. So this was in the middle of 3 to 4 countries. Anyhow, the name roughly translates as Mogolok and Turkic languages to Sea of Islands, referring to over 1,100 areas dotted in the waters. Now, over time, this area has become a desert. There is a North Aral Sea, which the World Bank helped to build a dam to contain it. However, in a contrast, there's a lot of areas around the North Aral Sea where the sea has now gone inland, that a lot of villages and towns and stuff who used to use the water as for tourism and other such things have become ghost towns, because the main reason they were by the water's edge was for fishing and for tourism and anything else that attributed to using water. However, that being said, at least there is still a North Aral Sea. Currently, there is also a teeny tiny bit of the southern Aral Sea left. It is very strange because there's a massive ecological disaster. Something of such unparalleled maliciousness in a way, even though they didn't know at the time that they were diverting the rivers and thought that it wouldn't have any effect on this massive body of water. I just can't believe, I suppose, the madness in it all. It just seems so terrible, really. There are many pieces on this. There are videos on YouTube about this area, and there are certain things which are going on about how they intend to bring back sections of the Aral Sea. The Aral Sea had a lot of fish populations, and in the areas where the Aral Sea has been, shall we say, revived, they've introduced these fish stocks to try and repopulate the lake. There's also another problem, is one of the islands, big islands that used to be in there, was used by the Soviets for testing biological or germ warfare weapons, and I believe they may have been sorted now, but I'm not 100% on that, as the Soviets did a lot of different things. However, saying that, the only good thing has come out of it is the awareness of this area. I mean, it's unfortunately what's left in the dried up area, which is a vast area, which is almost a desert in its own right, is salt deposits, and these salt deposits have certain chemicals and things in them that are not great for human beings. So these dust deposits, if there's a lot of wind etc., can blow around and inflict the local area with potential harmful effects. I mean, one good thing is, out of all of this, and you can actually look this up on Wikipedia, and I'll see if I can actually attach it in the description, because I think it's quite a good resource. To be fair, there are a lot of rubbish Wikipedia pages, but there are also some very good ones. This is one of the ones I believe that are very good. This the Amrudawa, which I believe is one of the rivers, also it never flowed into the Caspian Sea, and it went into another channel, and then it thus created the Aral Sea over time. The Aral Sea was created many thousands of years ago, and used to cover an area of roughly, and I do apologise for this, I should have written a script, 68,000 kilometres, square kilometres, which is a huge area, which also translates to 26,300 square miles. And yes, I am quoting from the Wikipedia article, and I will attach the link in the description. Unfortunately, at least they know exactly how it came to be, because it's not the only lake in the world that's having issues. There are many, such as the Caspian Sea, which is also decreasing. Some of this is due to climate change, but also due to other things as well. This article talks about introduced fish, which is a very good thing, and also the native fish as well. It talks about certain animals that you get in the area, invertebrates, etc. It really is something that they're trying to save. There's even a time-lapse video of how bad the problems that have occurred in there. I mean, it's astounding how bad it's. I mean, you think, you would have thought from things such as this that they would have known in the 80s, close to the end of their empire, that the Aral Sea was coming to an end. And they must have seen, because from space you can see it shrinking gradually over time, and they must have known that that was occurring. Yet, like many countries that are huge and have all sorts of different disasters contend with. Unfortunately, they left this unchecked. There are organisations, as we speak, trying to repair some of the damage. I think the strangest thing to come out of it is partly some of it is now a nature park, which is frankly bizarre, to be honest with you, but it also gives great hope because it'll give possibly people the form of jobs to work in that park to make it as best as they possibly can, and to be a refuge for certain species of animals that may potentially be endangered in that area. So it just gives you food for thought. When I first read about this in about 2006, I believe it was, I couldn't believe it. It's awful. It's pretty much the worst thing you could ever cause, which you could never truly fix. Mother Nature could maybe fix it over millions of years, but over a period of 20 to 30 years, it sort of undid hundreds, if not thousands, of years of work. I suspect it's probably been there even longer than that. It's probably millions of years. Probably formed during the last movement of the plates to form that, such as the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean originally was just a massive area that was all you could walk across it basically. So it was a massive canyon, and then when they had the split between the African continent and the European continent, between Spain, the water flowed in and created what we know today as the Mediterranean. And this, I suspect, is something that happened. But the good thing about this particular thing is this article gets updated and has become better and better. In fact, since I last saw this has actually become probably one of the best articles on Wikipedia, at least concerning this particular subject. So give some thought, really, because of the Aral Sea, the draining of the Aral Sea had some massive long-term effects, and there's still effects today, the legacy of which we can never be 100% sure of. It's far away, but it's something that could easily happen, and is happening at the moment, to certain areas in the world. For example, due to another video that I was making the other day, South America, I think Chile in particular, so then the government owns the water supply, and hence drained rivers or diverted rivers to produce avocados. And that is, from what I said last time, and there is proof that the avocado is, as much as it's got health benefits, it's just not worth the waste of water to grow. The same thing is happening all across. There are certain areas in this country where the rivers have dried up. There's certain areas where they've actually gone to try and put the river on its original course because it was diverted in the Victorian times for different purposes. So they've basically rediverted the river to where it's supposed to be, and there's projects ongoing with all that sort of thing. I should imagine the Environment Agency would be a very interesting lot of people to actually talk to in this country in particular. Anyway, I will put the link to this in the description, and I would like you to like and subscribe very much. I'd like to bring the fact that the Aral Sea is something, a cautionary tale, where possibly in the future we'll see that happening elsewhere, and then perhaps potentially try to stop it, as this has impacted a lot of individuals, and do not belittle the fact has caused a lot of strife for some poor people. This is 4046 out. Please like,